Why is that not fucking working? You take your shoes. Hello, all you hardcores out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner, the biggest goblin sport. Well, what a day it's been. We're all waiting for Eddie Hills to announce Anthony Joshua's opponent for Saturday. It's Monday evening here, about 8:10. Still nothing. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder what they're all doing, doesn't it? Really, what do they do to earn the coin this slot? Everybody and the dad is wanting to fight Anthony Joshua, aka Big Meech, Ajit Caballel, Jack Massey, Joe Gallagher's fighter, Gerard Washington, who's over here to fight Derek Warchizora, aka Scooby Doo. Ergovic, he's over here. Johnny Fisher's name's even been thrown into the mix. The Romford Bull, although I think that it's probably a little bit too early for him just yet, probably a couple of years. But speaking of the Romford Bull, we were only having a bit of fun this morning with that black toenail gag. It was a picture of Butterbean, so it wasn't you, Johnny Fisher, Senior. Nearly looked like you though, didn't he? My advice to Johnny Fisher Senior: go get a gastric band and save your life. Too late once you're brown bread, mate. All right, go look after yourself. Try and eat a bit better. Because I think you're a funny bloke, and you probably bring a lot to the table. All right, other than soy sauce. So, but everybody wants to fight Anthony Joshua, don't they? Big Meech to get the big payday, 3 million quid on offer. They're saying Derek Chisora's the man that should fight him because he's about on a par with Dylan White, and he's been in with Fury, he's been in with Klitschko, he's been in with them all, but he's never got a win over a former, current, or a future world champion. None of them. None. No, he's not beat a top guy. 13 losses. Pulak beat him as well the second time, and I thought they give him it because it was his retirement fight. But since then, he's had the Fury money at Wembley, wasn't it? And now he's trying to get the Joshua money. But what would these two fights be? Would they just be move arounds with close friends? Because Fury's his pal, isn't he? Hey, would they just be move arounds? Is that what they'd be? Is that where we're heading now? Move arounds. Hey? Is that what we're doing? Eric Chisora would be pulled out in corner after about 4 or 5 rounds against his friend Anthony Joshua. Yeah. You know what? Where's it going this? Where are we going with this now? Hey. Where? Derek Chisora? Come on. Derek Warchizora. You can't string two sentences together. He sounds like Scooby Dooby Doo. He does, honestly. He I can't believe that the border control would even consider Scooby Doo. I mean, to fight Joshua. I mean, Fred would probably do a better job, wouldn't he, than Scooby against Joshua. I'd have Fred to knock Joshua out. He's scared of his own shadow. But Derek Chisora, he's 40 in a few weeks, isn't he? Been knocked about. If Joshua beats him, who was he beat? What's he going to do? Well, if it were good enough for Fury. Well, yeah, you could say that. That could be their get out, but the fans weren't happy with that fight, were they? So are we now to be abused by the Hearns lot putting Chisora in with Anthony Joshua? Does what's good for goose good for gander kind of thing, eh? Yeah, it's okay. He fought Tyson Fury, so it's okay. He could fight Joshua, get a good hiding off him. Who's looking out for Derek Chisora? Hey, I called Sam Jones out for saying get Chisora in there. Because 8 months ago, Sam Jones was saying Derek needs to have a look at himself and retire and he's saving from himself. And that's right. So any trainer willing to take Derek Chisora on to fight Anthony Joshua, it's a poor trainer and it's poor judgment, in my opinion. Poor judgment. But getting back to Dylan White, aka D, with a D on his head. D for Dylan, is it? Or D for, could be anything else, couldn't it really? Anything. Who's responsible here? Is anybody going to come out and say, well, is any boxer ever going to come out and say, so and so gave me this, and that's the problem in the sport? Is anybody going to come out and admit it? Anybody? Because we're all beaten up over it all, aren't we? 18 to 24-year-olds, right, are not watching boxing, they're watching UFC and MMA. That's true. 18 to 24-year-olds. Do you know there's a bit of a cult in UK in that age that are watching basketball and NFL? They should be watching boxing, or especially in England, boxing, football, boxing, cricket, rugby, stuff like that, shouldn't they? Golf, but they're watching American sports now. These are our own Brits, you know? When's it end? When's it going to end? Hey, when's it going to end? People are probably wondering, Porky, you're not sat on your bed. You and I've been up in the morning. I've been at it all day. It gets to this time at night. I just like to jump on my big bed, don't I? But I want to strip bed in, stick it in washer. That's waiting for a tumble dryer. I'm sat here. Fed up of sitting on bed. It's got like a dint one side of the mattress. Or 5 mattresses in 5 years. I get a mattress a year to get me away from them. I think I'm still in jail routine. But Derek, if it's Derek Chisora, we're waiting, aren't we now? But if it's Derek Chisora, in my opinion, it's in bad taste. It's in real bad taste. Who's looking out for him? I seen an interview online with BBTV. A good interview. And it was with Joe Gallagher. Yeah. Joe Gallagher said that what happens if Derek Chisora ends up with, blood clot on his brain or something? Because he's there to be hit, Derek, isn't he? Joshua's bigger, taller, heavier, faster, punches harder, younger, not as many miles on clock, a former 2-time world champion, Olympic gold medalist. We know Derek's story, don't we? He's just got tough pug, isn't he? Comes forward, takes punches like a poor man's Joe Fraser. For Tyson, it was a sparring match because he'd already done him twice before. He was bashed up by Tyson in a bad way, so Joshua punches a lot harder and he's a lot faster. We know the mates. What they're going to sell it as the teacher against the pupil, because when Joshua joined Finchley, ABC, Finchley Gym, and Derek were there, he looked at him as a mentor and stuff like that. Is that how they're going to sell it? I suppose if I were promoting it or I were working for Dennis and he were putting that show on, he'd say, what do you think, Ross? And I'd say, well, he had 2 life and deaths with Dylan, didn't he? And he's just been in with Fury. He's been in with everybody, David A. Klitschko and them. So you could say that he's a guy that turns up and gives it his all, but I think we don't want that kind of fight for Joshua, do we now? He's got to have a fight with Wilder. Tomorrow, there's a video coming out on my channel. It's to do with something that happened about 5 years ago regarding my opinion on Wilder. It's exactly, I think it's about 5 years this month. It's around about this time 5 years ago. And I was kicking off then about it being about 14. It was about 16 months after they promised us Wilder against Joshua. We're still waiting now, and it's now 6.5 years, getting on for 6.5 years, isn't it? Or 6 year, 4 months. It's 5 years after that, and we still haven't got it. But Derek Chisora is in no fit state to fight Anthony Joshua. He's not. And if they do, it's in such bad taste that he could get hurt. Joe Gallagher said in his interview, if Derek Chisora gets hurt, who's going to pay for that? What will happen to the sport? Because people will just have a dig at the sport, won't they? Really. So I don't want to see Derek Chisora in there, mainly for safety reasons. We all like to see knockouts, but it'd be a slaughter, wouldn't it? It'd be a meat market job, wouldn't it? Throw him on the shoulder, take it to meat market, like they used to do with Klitschko's. Just feed them to him. Derek's stupid enough to take that money, isn't he? Because it's pure greed now. It's about money for him. And greed makes you do stupid things. I really feel for Derek Chisora if he takes that fight. I said that before he fought Tyson Fury. Look at the pasting he got. All his face was shut up, and he's just tougher. He just keeps coming forward, doesn't he? Taking punches like that. And it's not good. It's in bad taste. So I don't want to see that fight. Caballel, Uzi, nobody know him if he walked down the street, but he's got the pedigree and he in the ranking. And Joshua could have fought him a bit back, but he didn't. So I'd be all right for Caballel if they drop the pay-per-view down from 27 quid to a bit cheaper. Because isn't it £10 to join the channel to get to pay the 27? And then don't you have to give a month's notice to go or something? So it's like £47, isn't it? If you want to dive in and dive out. If not, you get other DAZN content, but they're not putting content on, are they now? The Conor Benn fight, I mean, I'm just shooting from hip here, trying to think what's in my head. The Conor Benn fight with Christopher Eubank, that got cancelled, didn't it, in fight week? This is cancelled now. Both for drug issues, performance-enhancing drugs. Now, Dylan White's failed 3 tests as a boxer, and as Tunde Ajayi said on his channel last night with Spencer Fearon, aka Purple Tunde and Big Malcolm X, they said that he's failed one in K1 kickboxing, so he's a 4-time cheat. But what don't we know about him? Has he failed tests and they've been in? We don't know, do we? How many matchroom fighters have been failing dope tests that we know about? Well, we know that there's Dylan, and we know that there's Conor Benn. They've failed them. Dylan's failed 2 now. Conor Benn's failed 2. But how many more have been kept quiet? Eddie's promoted Canelo, Dylan, Conor Benn. He's had James Toney over there. He's had Enzo Maccarinelli. Roy Jones failed one as well. The list is endless, isn't it? There's rumours about other fighters in Matchroom stable at the moment, pulling out of fights left, right and centre. People are saying Felix Casher's pulling out a lot, and Cordina. They've never failed tests, but they're pulling out a lot. People were saying Kell Brook were pulling out of a lot of fights. What it injures, we don't know. They haven't failed tests, so we can't condemn them, can we? But there's a lot of smoke screens, isn't there? There's people emailing saying that Terry Harper's as big as a house. How's she done that when she was frail as oat a few years ago? What's going on? Is anybody going to make a stand? Are they going to clean the sport up? Is Robert Smith going to clean it up? You mind burying your head in sands? We're all beaten up over it now. I am, especially. I'm worn out with it. I am, but, I'll get my mojo back tomorrow. I've had a long day. Paying my bills doesn't revolve around Porky's Corner. But I'm just a mad boxing fan that loves boxing, aren't I? I like to give an opinion on it. I've seen it close up and it ain't what I thought it'd be. And certainly now, if I were... if we could wind the clock back 8-9 years, and Dennis was sat in a pub with me and said, "You want to come work for me? I'll give you a chance." I'd be like, "No. And great to meet you, but it ain't for me." And do I regret getting involved? Yeah, I do. In a way, I do, yeah. In a way, I do, yeah, because I stopped everything I was doing to do it. And I was only fortunate that I had a lot of money saved, and I thought I can do this for a while. But there was no money coming in from boxing, but I gave it my all. But also, Dennis wasn't making no, really. We're losing on shows. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. What's Dennis doing with Fight Zone? I don't know what he's doing, but I don't hear anything about Fight Zone now. I know they're still going strong and that. And he looks like he's put Dave Allen on Sky and Tommy Frank on Sky. Fed Dave Allen to It's Big Freeze. Tommy Frank's being fed to that Yafai kid. And that'll be a slaughter. Probably 2 fights there that'll be a slaughter. You know, a bit like Anthony Yard, isn't it? Jumping from really low level fights to going in with killers like Kovalev and Beta Beef. And now he's jumping back with low level ranked fighters. That's not boxing. That's not boxing as I watched it growing up. Frank Warren used to bring people on correctly. Now he's screaming about events and things like that. Everybody's had their heads turned by Saudi money. You know, I'm just about sick of it now. Everybody's showing the true colours. They all want to slice at pie. How about going back to basics and looking after small hall shows, Robert Smith? Looking after these kids that are putting shows on, like Josh Whale at Barnsley. There's Carl Greaves, Steffi Bull. They're putting shows on. And you're putting prices up for officials, board officials, timekeeper, first referee, second referee, judges. Don't forget these people have got arenas to pay for and security and all food to put on for them sort of shows. You know, so they have a break in between fights. There's going to be no left in pot, is there? Phil Jeffries has already handed his licensing. How many more promoters, small all, are going to hand the license? When I say small all, I'm not saying the small fry, and that they're not going to have champions and that. I'm on about they're not massive promoters, are they? Not putting 10,000 seater stadiums on, are they? And football stadiums, they're 1,000 seats up to 2,000 or 3,000, and that's the lifeblood of the sport. Why can't you, Robert Smith, help these people out? You know, they have to pay that. Is it £10,000 bond when you're putting shows on? So if anything happens or anybody dies or there's any accidents, or they have to have cover, don't they, and stuff. They're having to get that 10,000 and give it you. While ever they're a promoter, you've got that £10,000. And what do you do with that? You put it in a bank? Do you have interest on it? What's going on? Who's looking out for small old promoters? What about these kids that haven't got big followings on social media that have turned pro? Where do they stand in all this now? It ain't just about the 35 to 45 people that get interviewed on IFL regular, because you've just seen what all that's about, haven't you? Well, Tyson, you had a video of a day. Coogan did an interview with Anna Woolhouse a bit back and asked him who were his closest friends in boxing. Now we know what he said, don't we? Conor Benn, Tyson Fury, yeah, Anthony Joshua, Dylan White, you know, all them sort of people. Eddie Hearn, you know, the list is endless, but all them people's names who are mentioned, they all do views, don't they? I didn't hear one journeyman or one kid who's like 5-0 prospect. It's all people that do views. His channel's shut down now. Who shut that down? I know for a fact it'd be Eddie Hills. Coogan, don't put no out here while this blows over. Let me wait while I sort it all out. Let me have a think. That's what happens. I know that because when I used to work with Dennis's and had my channel, he said, "Oh, just don't do it for a couple of days." I'm like, "You what?" I said, "Oh no, I need to get my head around what we're doing." So I thought we were going to do something. Say, "Oh no, we have to wait." Well, I'm going to do something because it's unboxing. No. Don't let these people control you, all your YouTubers. Be your own person. That's all you've got to do. All right. We need boxing to prosper, and for it to prosper, it's got to be stripped down bare. A bit like me. I don't mean to go on about this. I mention it a lot because it's on my mind constantly. Probably because I've always got like a bit of a pain in my tummy all the time. It's like having a finger poking in your side of your body all the time, this band, even though there's no fluid in it. I had to be stripped down and to look at myself and say, "You're a mess. You're a drug addict." Doing a bit of gambling, a bit of booze, but mainly drugs were my best mates. As many as I could take and more, and hundreds of thousands. And I thought, I've got to sort myself out here. So you go on methadone, you blow up like a bloom. I need to get myself sorted out, weight, health wise, and then I was set about getting my face sorted and things like that and all whatnot. But I had to be stripped down and to start again, and it took a long time. Carl Froch encouraged me a lot on my 41st birthday up at LBO, gave me massive encouragement. And it took a long time. And I think boxing's probably going to take as long as well. It's probably going to take a decade to get right. It's wrong. It's from top to bottom, from Robert Smith at the top, who his hands are tied with a lot of things, but he doesn't cover himself in glory. And all the way down, when it's like that, it filters through the sport, and people think they can do what they want. And the main people that take advantage of this are the promoters, because the promoters are paying everybody. They're paying the board, they're paying the fighters, they're paying the security on the door, they're paying the doctors, the judges, the timekeeper, the referees. They're paying YouTubers. Oh yeah, they're flying them all over. Certain ones that are willing to put certain propaganda on the channels and not ask certain questions and be given questions to ask. That's going on. That is going on. Oh yeah. There's other YouTube channels out there that are putting propaganda out, that are hiding behind the channels. There's people with YouTube channels, I'm not going to say who, but we all know who, for Warren, for Hearn, who put stuff out on a daily basis and some a weekly basis, and they're hiding. They're not. They just don't want to show the faces. That's their prerogative, in it. So I shouldn't say hiding, but they're taking money off YouTube, and they're probably getting looked after by promoters and that. How, I don't know. Probably tickets that they don't sell at shows. It does go on. It needs cleaning up from top to bottom. We have mandatories, right? They're giving rematches on mandatories. What is that? What's the point in getting into that ranking and grafting to get to that mandatory slot for your title shot, to then have to fight the champion twice in his back garden? What's all that about? I mean, you've got to knock him out twice, more or less, doesn't it? It's so wrong. And then once you get your mandatory gets called, the champ doesn't have to fight you if it's a world title, because he might just want a unification with somebody else if that mandatory's an hard one, because a unification top trumps a mandatory. I mean, who invented all that? And who invented rematches on mandatories? Eh? I mean, what's the answer here? Where are we going with it? People are slipping into the sport, right? We've got no idea. They're holding a few pads in a gym, doing a part 1, part 2 basic seconds license or trainer's course. Before you know where you are, they're in fighters' ear holes, geeing them up. We've got doctors slipping into the sport, advising people. Fighters are not scientists, they're not doctors. They're told what to do, when to eat, when to sleep, when to get up. If you don't believe me, go look at Terry Harper. She's controlled. But that's a good thing, because she's a world champion, isn't it? She does as she's told. That's what I think. Well, fighters are not scientists. They don't know what they're putting in their bodies. They ain't got time to read things. They're trusting people, and mistakes are being made. Do I believe that Dylan White's a cheat? Yeah, I do. But do I believe that he took it on advice of somebody? Yeah, they probably gave him advice and said he could probably, you get away with this, Dylan, if you do this, do that. We heard what that husband said, didn't we, in that interview? What did he say? He was saying that you can get away with it and things like that if you do it at certain times, and you'd be a fool if you messed up. He's on his profile picture with Tyson Fury and advising Conor Benn and all this. Tyson's a 3-time drug cheat, isn't he? 2 performance-enhancing drugs and a cocaine. No, 1 performance-enhancing drug, 1 refusal, so we don't know what we're in that, and a cocaine one. So he's got issues, and there's others. What's going on? Why should Tyson get a 2-year ban for all that, and Liam Cameron get 4 years for a line of sniff, or a little tiny bit of sniff, or that little that it were in his paws? I don't know how it's going in his paws. It's his own fault. He's been hanging around that stuff or handling money. But I've been up to Liam's house and I've seen him handling money with socks on his hands. What are you doing? I'm going to count this. Oh my God. I don't know what the answer is. And then when it brings us to this misfits stuff, we've got some of it's embarrassing. Women's boxing's embarrassing. You know what I think about that, don't you, at the moment? There's maybe 10 women fighters in the world that are any good. The rest of them are just making numbers at the school dinner ladies, or freak shows like Ebony Bridges or the Ellie Brooke, birds like that. The freaks. That's freaky stuff. Or the girl who got her boobs out in the ring. What's all that about? It's disgusting, that. What if kids are sat there at ring? They don't want to see that, do they? People at a certain age, young kids. Calla there strutting about, thinks it's all funny and that, laughing and joking, playing both sides at fence. When my friend Chris Smedley cornered a girl at a white collar show, he had to go up in front of the board. What's all that about? Hey, what is all that about? Calla's not been up in front of the board. They're in the thick of it. Is it one rule for them down south and one for us up north? Eh? Do they think we all live in cow fields up here or something, all them down south? Is that what it is? Are they ignorant about us? Because I think that at times when I've been down there, when they say where you're from, I always say Yorkshire. They look at us like we're, freaks or something. We've got two heads. Is that what it is? Is it the north-south divide? Who's controlling the border control? It's supposed to be Robert Smith. Robert, what are you doing with what are you doing with border control? You've been there nearly 16 years. And I think you've been a total failure. You've had a go, and it's a pretty stressful job, but you're not entitled to that money, what you're taking from there for yourself and that lifestyle. You're not entitled to that. You're a failed journeyman boxer. You should be working in a factory now or retired somewhere. You shouldn't be milking the border control because it's a disaster. It's a disaster. Everybody's lost faith in the border control. Everybody. When the border control go to shows, they have to have security around them because fans want to throw drinks at them. And the referees and judges, it's embarrassing. We're a joke. Look at the shows that the Americans are putting on. They've just put I Know You and Fulton on. Spence and Crawford. Undefeated elite world champions all going at it in Undisputeds. I think they're Undisputeds, weren't they? Both of them. And what we've got Tyson Fury, world heavyweight champion, got one at belts. Usyk's got other five, but he's got one. He's fighting a guy that's never had a boxing fight in his life. The belt's parked up. The WBC are doing no. The representative from the UK, is it still Charlie Giles? What's he doing about it? He's supposed to be WBC representative. Is he putting a case forward that that belt should be, freed up for everybody else, vacated for everybody else to fight for, or the next two in line, which is Wilder and Ruiz, I believe, is it? I could be wrong on that. We've got Ben and Eubank, that got cancelled in fight week for performance-enhancing drugs, and now we've had Joshua and Dylan White cancelled for performance-enhancing drugs. What's the answer? But Christopher Eubank and Beefy, that's the pay-per-view, but there's no belt online. Conor Ben and Eubank were no belt online. Joshua White, no world title online, but all pay-per-view. Americans are showing us how to do it, aren't they? They're laughing at us. They're laughing at us. They're laughing at us, honestly. And it's crazy. Nobody gives a damn, do they? Ticket deals are illegal. Promoters, do your job and promote. Fighters shouldn't have to be running around with tickets. Promote the shows. Some of it can go on forever, can't it? It puts me on a downer myself. Puts me on a proper downer. I don't know what the answer is. We need somebody to grab hold of the sport and give it a shake. And we're hoping it we're going to be Simon Jordan or my friend Julian McGowan, but Julian's losing interest now. So I'm going to put forward Simon Jordan to have a role at the border control. He could do that in his sleep. He wouldn't need all them meetings and to be driving around country all over the place. He don't need to go to every show. You can delegate authority. He could run that and do his other things, Simon Jordan. He looks to me like he's got a lot of integrity. I'm really looking forward to his interview tomorrow with Eddie Hills. I hope he does a better job than last time because I thought Eddie didn't run around, but not because Simon's questions were bad. I think that Eddie's that used to delaying and stalling tactics, talking over people, drowning people out and being slippery and telling lies and denying stuff and just getting on his way and doing what he's got to do. He's a lot better at promoting himself than he is his own fighters because nobody knows who Joshua Buatsi is. He's an Olympian, isn't he, Joshua Buatsi? An Olympian. But everybody knows who Eddie is, don't they? They don't know who Buatsi is. Nobody knew who Coley was. British, Commonwealth, European and a world champion, Lawrence Coley. Nobody knows who he is. But they know who Eddie is, don't they? Eddie's good at looking after Eddie. That's what he's good at. Go look at the books. Net profit, 250 grand a week. Net. It's on Company House. 250 net. Net. A week profit. And all their expenses will all be took off the taxes and that. Train fare, meals, everything. Suits, cars on lease, the lot. Yeah. So what's the answer? What do we do? Where do we go with this now? Right? Does boxing go underground? What do we do? They couldn't even let Bricktop know Tete had failed the dope test, according to Bricktop. Whether people believe that or not, I don't know, but I think maybe they didn't know. Because there's that much confusion, isn't there? Eh? Around it all. Conor Ben's failed tests. They're telling us that Conor Ben's cleared to fight. Well, if he's cleared to fight September 23rd, that's 7 weeks from now. Why aren't they announced a fight? Because he's not cleared, is he? Otherwise, they'd announce he's going to fight. Probably announce it tomorrow now I've done this video, show me up. So we can't get everything right because the storyline is changing by the day because these people can't lie straight in bed. We've now got David A saying Chisora told him a week ago that Dylan had failed the test. That's what I've read just now. So that about, how come they know before Dylan White? How come they know before Dylan White? Hey? No. I don't know, I'm going out of my head. People getting Carl Froch stick for coming out and speaking out and saying that Anthony Joshua is scared of his own shadow. He is at the moment. He is. You know, are you telling me they can't get a fight for Joshua? Kabayel, Jack Massey's put his name into the mix. Ergovic, Chisora. Nobody wants to see that, do they? Dylan's been struck off now, and he looks like he could be finished him now. He'll have to face a ban, and he'll be old when he comes back. He'll be Joe Joyce's age, being active. He'll have to train all the way through if he gets a 2-year ban. He's had a 2-year ban, and so his second one's 4 years now, isn't it? So Dylan could be done now while he's 40. 40-year-old, career over. For what? Has he took bad advice or has he cheated? Well, we don't know because we're not going to get to the bottom of it. One of the biggest massive problems is the media. We've got people like the Gad and Spencer Oliver just doing what they want. Spencer, you were involved with all that misfit stuff, weren't you, with KSI? You know, you dip your bread, didn't you, on that? Filled your pockets. You're not bothered, are you? But yet you've got the cheek to hold the job down at TalkSport and just sit there smug as out like you don't have a care in world. I don't agree with that. I'd sack you at TalkSport, me. I said, get gone. You're involved with all that misfit stuff. You're not a boxing man. Don't make out you are. You're just there for that. So you want that. My opinion. The Guard, don't even get me started with you with them black toenails painted and all that seedy stuff you do, you know, around people. And don't even get me started with you. I'll get stuck into you, Gad. I'll fight you. If you want to fight on a show, Gad, get yourself fit. Whatever weight you're at now, I'm 11 stone. I'll get stuck into you at the same age, I believe. I'll have a misfits fight with you. Do you know what I mean? If it puts an end to all this misfits. You're not asking proper questions, Gad, and you know you're not. You're wrapped around all these promoters. When Conor Ben put it on you, you went into I love Conor Ben mode and all that. You couldn't do enough for him. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Start asking some proper questions. Start putting it on these people. I'm going to give respect, like I did in that other video, to Purple Tunde and Big Mal, Tunde Ajayi and Spencer Fearon, for coming out and saying it as it were about Dylan White. He's got to go now. Well, he knows he's got to go now anyway if he can't beat this charge. He's got to go. That last one, that never got dealt with, did it? He never even showed the B sample. We didn't know that till Big Mal told everybody. I didn't know that. I had a good idea, but I didn't know because there's that much misinformation out. A lot of agencies put one information out and Eddie drowns them out with all these platforms. And these platforms are people like Coogan and all the other rimmers that are hanging out back of him. They're drowning out everybody, even you, Cad. When who's controlling the sport? Is it promoters? Are they controlling the sport? Is it the same two families that are always going to control this sport? Is that what's going to happen? Is this where we're going to be in another 20 years when I'm an old man, 73? Right. I'm going to be butting heads with George Warren and his brother, the housewife's favourite, Francis. Is that what's going to happen? Dennis there in wheelchair, 82. I told you about him. He's not covered his sin in glory. Very disappointing. Look who got him there. Pop, pop, bang. But don't worry, Porky, we've got something bubbling. I said, got something bubbling. There's nothing bubbling, is there? There's nothing bubbling with Dennis having to go on other shows. And all these other little small old shows that are a bit important around here. There's nobody going to them, is there? It's dead on its arse. But yet the board, in a global pandemic, just put all prices up. And speaking from Artie, I ain't got no wrote down. Just dejected with it all. Sam Jones, you said you're going to come on my channel 2 years ago, 27 months ago. I'm still waiting for you. I'm not chasing you about for Zooms. You can come to me to factory. I'll get you in the studio and we'll get you on film and ask you some questions. Or you can bottle it, Sam Jones. Rotherham's not far from Derby, mate, wherever you live. Don't be a bottler. Stick to your word, all right? And come and explain some questions I want to ask you. I'm not going to bite your head off. I'm not going to give you a dig or out. Just come and see me and let's have you on channel instead of hiding. You know what I mean? Yeah, oh, come on. It's lip service until you turn up, man. I'm not interested. It's pure lip service. It's like them lads who on live chat what I watch on Monday, they always have plenty to say about me. They're welcome on my channel on Zoom. They put the time in commenting on boxing. All them lads who go on Asylum on a weekend. I've got the name, Jim McDonald's, Michael and all the rest of them. Mark Stanton or something. Brian King, does he still go on there? I quite like Brian. Tommy Allen, they're boxing people. They've all given the time up, haven't they? What do they all think about it? They're probably sick to death. And Asylum lads, you know, Andy Patterson, he's been on here, Aussie. Steve Wellings, them Yanks, they all put the time in. They're probably sick to death of all this now. Every Sunday for over a decade they've done that. Terry and Rico, they've gone quiet since all this come out. Let's see what they've got to say. It can't just be left to 8 or 9 YouTubers to fly the flag on this because everybody else has gone missing, haven't they? And Coogan, like I just said, with all his best mates, Billy Joe, Tyson, Dylan White, Conor Benn. Well, Billy Joe, Tyson, Conor Benn, Dylan White, they've all failed dope tests. They're all Coogan's mates. He were quiet when they had problems, wasn't he? And he's quiet again. It's just same old, same old. You know what I mean? Averaging 16,000 the video, but he's got 800,000 subscribers. He'd have a slot on ITV with a chat show if they were real, them subscribers, wouldn't he? Boxing only has 30,000 subscribers to the Bible Ring magazine, and yet he's got 800,000. It's all a con to get sponsorship. That's all it is. It's unbelievable what's going on. It's vagabonds, charlatans, and liars, isn't it? I don't know why I'm hanging around the sport. Hanging around like a bad smell, I used to say, didn't I, about certain people? That's my channel at the moment, isn't it? Hanging about like a bad smell, hoping that we're going to get a change in the sport and that something's good's going to come from it. And we're going to get like a Joshua Fury fight, a couple of fights, and a Joshua Wilder or a Usyk Fury trilogy or something. It ain't going to happen, is it? Because this generation of fighters just want to pile money up. They don't want to take risks. Nobody's got no morals anymore. It's all about money. It's a bit like years ago, do you know, when people got locked up in 40s and 50s and in America, you know, to do it mafia. They all went no comment, didn't they, and took it on chin. Like Michael Francese's dad and people like that, and John Gotti. And then this next generation, they're all flipping, aren't they? Because they can't do, they get in that police cell, 20 seconds, they piss their knickers, don't they? That's what they do. They piss their knickers. You know. So I don't know where it's going, where it's heading. I'm about up to here. I feel like Julian does, but tomorrow's another day and I get up in the morning, take my dogs, do a run, and go again, don't we? That's what we do. Go again, change things up a bit and see what we can do. But the sport's got to change. And people involved in it, the people at the top, the board of control and the promoters, have a good look at yourselves. Have a good look at yourselves. How you doing yourselves justice? Hey, Joshua against, it looks like TBA now. You know, whoever it is, they've only had a few days to prepare it. It's going to have to be an easy one, isn't it? Is that a pay-per-view? No, it isn't. Tyson against Chisora isn't a pay-per-view, is it? It's not a pay-per-view, that. Putting it up, it's 27 quid. It's a global recession or whatever we're in, aren't we? Interest rates are going up. 580 quid mortgages are now 713 quid from November this year. A 580 mortgage is 713. So think about it. If you've got 3 times that mortgage, hey, you've got like another month to find, haven't you? Yeah. So Robert Smith, bring them prices down for these small old shows and let's get it all flourishing. Otherwise, we're going to hit a slump like we did in that year 2000, wasn't it? 2000 up to 2002. Then Mick Hennessy burst on the scene with Class of 2002, didn't it? On BBC, and there were David A. Frotch and all them lot, and Audley, Darren Barker, all that lot. Something's got to change soon because we're stuck in a rut. We're stuck in a rut. And this Misfits thing, it's confusing the sport. It's confusing it. Let's not get confused with it. People that are watching it, because it's a freak show, but the man in the street thinks it's boxing. I don't want to hear complaints when I'm going to get me milk from shop for me shakes, and people coming to me ball aching about this Misfits and these Jake Paul and KSI characters. They're bringing out prime drinks and also they're showing us all how to do it, aren't they? But they're not fighting men, are they? They're just bits of kids, gamers and TikTok dancers. That's all it is. Taking piss out of us. I mean, they took piss out of us when Eddie Hearn had him headlining and Billy Joe, world champion on undercard. What's all that about? Let's have teams sacked if fighters fail dope tests because the fighters are not taking it on their own. Somebody's giving them it. Let's have some names put forward by these fighters. Dylan White, Ian Grasson, you're not going to the police. Nobody's going to go to jail. Let's just have some names put forward and we're giving you the stuff. And you, Conor Ben, we'll give you the stuff. Come on. Both of you aren't got a brain cell in your heads to know what you're taking. Somebody's give you it. Is it your trainer? Is it that doctor? Is it the man in the street? Who's give you it? Who's give you it? Is it somebody in boxing with a license? Somebody's given me it, and I want to know who it is. It's not a lot to ask, is it? That's how I look at it. All right, that's about it anyway. Sorry, there's no gags in this. Hardly. I'm a bit dejected. There's a video out tomorrow that I did other morning. That's a bit funny. That one tomorrow's a bit special. Took 3 or 4 days to do, and I've done all my budgeting on it for a month now. So I hope you enjoy that video tomorrow. I think it should be up about dinner time. So about 40 minutes, I think it might be. Yeah, 40, 50 minutes. But all right, you have to watch it fully and let me know what you think. And then if the person tells me who it is in that video, I'll reward them. I'm going to reward the person who comes and tells me. Well, you have to watch the video first. It took a long time to do. It took a long time to do, but everything I said in it was true, and that was 5 years ago. And look where we are now. I'm not boasting, because it's not hard to predict anything in this sport, is it? With all these cheats and liars, vagabonds. But from top to bottom, it's rotten. From the managers to the people hanging around them, right up to promoters and the board of control. Rotten. Rotten to the core. That's what it is. Rotten. You've just seen it, haven't you? David A coming out. Yeah, I knew about it a week ago. Chisora told me. Oh, tell Chisora that, but not Dylan first. How bad's that? That's bad, that. Really bad. That's really, really bad. All right. Okay. So we're going to turn this off now. Well, peace out.